All right, let's go. Wiggy, wiggy, wiggy. Everybody, wait. Let's go. We got, what's that, 7 hours? What time is the game tonight? It's in Montreal. Jeez. Yeah, that's pretty much how my day's been going. Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. Please stand by. Good grief. All right. Let's see. What time is the game tonight? Um, I know it's in Montreal. I don't know if that's going to be a different time. Still 7 o'clock. Okay. So we're good. 7 o'clock. So we got about 7 hours until yet another another disaster against Montreal. Hey, Marlboro man. Kenneth, yep, April. That's right. It's April. That's it. The playoffs are this month. Yep, they could not come at a better time. They cannot come at a better time. Hey, Jeff, how you doing, buddy? Pente, I hope it's going to be a good game tonight. I hope so. Can we beat this team once? Like, is it too much to ask? Can we just one time, right? You know, Jeff, any tips on how to cure vertigo? Best thing I can recommend, buddy, is acupuncture. There's little magnets that they make, like little magnet patches that you can maybe put on your temples and behind your ears. I know if you get nausea or dizziness from it, that will help. But acupuncture really helped me. Bender says we can beat Montreal, but it's a team effort, not one line. That's true. Yes, I know. And apparently they're going to come and try to beat the crap out of Mikula tonight. I hope Gadjevich is on the ice. Have we heard if Vanacek is on the ice tonight? I'm going to assume we're going to see Vanacek. No problem, Jeff. I appreciate you, buddy. Communist says that Montreal game last night better be an April Fool's first. Nope. Pente says the Mikula thing was funny. Yeah, the internet comment section did not think so, right? Hey, Ari. The internet comment, I mean, they love to hate us now, so it's fine. Marlboro says that, did you hear that they fired Maurice and Vincent is now the head coach? Hope he can right the ship. Well, if he's the head coach, I'm the GM, right? Marlboro says lineups and warm-ups for Gadget was out. Because why would we change the lineup, right? Why would we change the lineup when we just lost? Of course, Paul. Miguel didn't think what he did there. Yeah, Penta, he did not. I mean, if you're losing by one, it's kind of acceptable-ish, right? Kind of. Kenneth says Montreal and Florida might be top teams next year if the Habs find a goalie. Yeah, if they find a goalie, it's all over but the shouting. Not exactly. You know how teams can get, right? There's a big jump between a team that looks really good in the regular season and a team that can go all the way in the playoffs. And I'm not so sure Monty is, Sam Montevo. I'm not so sure, right? He's never been in the playoffs. I believe that this is the best season he's ever had. So, Ari says it's April now. Time for the Cats to play playoff hockey again and show Montreal what's going to happen a few weeks from now. I hope you're right. Really do. Really do. And look, I mean, these two games, this is the division right here. We got to win both games. Now, you don't necessarily have to beat Montreal in regulation, but you got to beat Toronto in regulation. Marlboro in the lineups and warm-ups. Is it Vanacek? Jeff, I don't think Kachuk's definitely not coming back at least until the first game of the playoffs, and that's not a guarantee. The way Maurice talked about it, he was saying it depends on when the first games get scheduled. Vincent says, have I seen Kachuk skate? Oh, man, I watched it a little bit. Yeah. He can kind of skate a little bit, teeny tiny. He's not ready yet. Al says it's now being hyped up that Bob is one shot out away from 50. Fantastic. Fantastic. Let's do that tomorrow night. Hey, Ryan. Yeah, the Lightning leapfrog over the Panthers. I know. I don't like third place. Hell was that? Looks like it was a bird. Vincent says he doesn't look so terrible. What did Maurice say? He's out there touching pucks. Right? He's out there touching pucks. So, yeah, who does Tampa play tonight? Oh, the Islanders. Jeez. So if we lose this game, we could be in rough shape by the end of the day. Barbara says hoping Rodriguez was on the third and Gadget was on the fourth, scratching Boquist, but no report of who's in net. All right, thank you, bud. No, they have not. I mean, they never officially said it was specifically a groin, but that's basically what the assumption is, and nobody has said anything different. What we never got was whether or not it was, something that he should have had surgery for, that they're just trying to let heal on his own. We didn't get really many specifics that way. So Kenneth says the Leafs clinch tonight with the Panthers win. You mean clinch a playoff spot? All right, right, because that would beat Montreal. Boy, my nose is itching, and don't start any drug rumors. So, oh boy, life is a big box of chocolates. I might have news that I have to tell you guys tomorrow, but I can't tell you today because nobody will believe that it's not an April Fool's joke. So if I might have news that I have to tell you tomorrow, but I can't tell you today because nobody would believe that it wasn't an April Fool's joke. Greg says cats should be more cats tonight. The Mikula slapper should be a spark. I hope so. I hope that got them riled up. Oh, geez, Steven, yeah, you're back in Ontario from the Utah game. What a nightmare the rainstorm ended up being. Yeah, we had nasty weather here last night. Ryan, yeah, he got fined $5,000. He can afford it. 7 of the 9 games left this season are against our division, 2 against Toronto, and we end the season versus Tampa. Big games all this month. Yep. I think there's like 1 game against non-playoff team. Boy, my nose is itching like a son of a gun. I think there's 1 game that's not. Yeah, we played the Sabres on the 12th. Everybody else is in the playoffs or fighting for the playoffs. Yeah, watch us lose to the Sabres. Vincent, is it about me? Yeah. It involves me. It's definitely not OnlyFans. No, it is not good news. It is absolutely not good news. But I'll tell you tomorrow. You wouldn't believe me. You wouldn't believe it's not a. Yeah. We played Buffalo on the 12th. That'd be the game we lose, right? Well, now the steam room by you already heard that one, Vincent. Ah, dang, I'm busted. Now, what is it? I believe it's Wednesday the 9th. That's next Wednesday. Kyle and I are going to cover the Leafs Lightning game. Now we got today, tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday. I don't know what we're doing Thursday yet. Then we got this weekend, and Panthers play Tuesday. The day after the Leafs and Panthers next week, we're going to cover Leafs and Lightning. Moving to Tampa. Oh, bro, no, definitely not what it is. Definitely not what it is. Oh, definitely not. Brian, go to say, hopefully Mikula is talking about Mikula's slap shot, put some fire in our players' ass. I agree. Some's got to get them going. And I just don't really know if Maurice yelling and screaming is going to be the right trick. You know? You can only yell and scream at them so much when we're missing so many guys, right? And it's not the playoffs. You know, which I talked about this on the podcast a little bit today. Now, it certainly seems as though they might be sort of unsure about when Kachuk is going to play again. And if we win the division and we go up against Brady Kachuk, healthy or not, Matthew's going to play game 1. Kenneth Ekblad unblocked us. We have to be nice. Definitely not. Well, guy says Montreal is in the same position we used to be in. Yes. Yeah, we went through this many, many a year. Right? All right, he says missing guys are not the play. It's not been good. Maybe not even average. It's been very inconsistent. Just lack of energy. Just lack of energy. Steven says, I was pretty pissed how much stupid fun they had with their beach day, but then play like that. No more fun days, business time. Yeah. No disagreements. It's April. Maybe now that it's April, they'll finally wake up. We've been doing this all year long. Like, have we gone? I guess we maybe have gone a week. But have we gone 2 weeks where somebody wasn't saying, well, look, they're not going to play with a lot of energy until the playoffs start? Like, did we have 2 weeks where we didn't say that at all? I don't know. This has been the longest, longest season in my recollection. Trey says, Jaws was at the bar Obi was at last night and overheard him saying he wants to retire Panther, but doesn't want to play with that punk Mackie Samoskevich. So he said that was the trade to make. Oh, Trey, I'm not quite sure that would be worse news. I'm not quite sure. I don't think that would be any less shocking. Trey knows, which is why he knows what to say, because Trey knows. Hey, JC, how you doing, bud? Yeah, we need an everything broke moment. I found that table the other day. I thought I had a spare table, and I went to set it up, and for whatever reason, we kept it, and about 6 inches of the bottom of the leg broke off, and now I know why there's a 6-inch piece of wood somewhere that I don't remember, but I remember keep seeing it. So whatever reason, we kept the broken table. Yeah, they're not hungry. Not right now, Fly. Oh, no. JC says, my dog is in heat, bleeding everywhere. I guess it's personification of how this team is playing. A bloody mess. Yeah, 6 inches of wood. Yeah, exactly, Trey. Yeah. There's a 6-inch piece of wood sitting around here. Oh, my God. Yep, I should have said 8. Damn it. I should have said 8. There goes the OnlyFans career. Ryan says, if Florida plays Tampa game 1 or game 3, I'll go out the Emirate. That'll be fun. I don't know, man. It's starting to feel like third place. We're going to know how much they want it by the end of tonight and tomorrow night, too. 6 inches of wood works on vampires, too, right? Are we guessing where Jaws hit this? No. Man. I'm sitting funny and keep moving. All right, I'll stand still. Vincent says, who would have believed you? Trey says, hey, it's the high side average. It's the Evan Rodriguez of wood. That's a good comment. That's a good yeah, I'll sit still. That's it. I won't move the rest of the podcast. I'll just stay right here. I won't even reach to scroll the chat. Tennis says if third place Ekblad returns at home, that's a good point. That's a good point. Everything looks bigger in midget hands. I don't even know if you can say that, but I guess you can because it didn't get censored automatically by YouTube. It did not get censored by YouTube, so there's that. So under the assumption that we got Vanacek tonight, if we lose to Montreal tonight, do you think we even show up against Toronto tomorrow? I can't believe we got to play back-to-back. These two, I mean, it's just brutal. Talk about curved sticks. Oh, I got a big stick over here in the corner. I got two big sticks in the corner. Oh, 77 for life. It all depends on the curve, right? You know, absolutely. It depends on the curve. Depends on the, what's the word I'm looking for? Let's just talk hockey. JC says, my wife's license says she needs to sit on a pillow. So by technically, I'm allowed to talk about midget. Is she that short, JC? Is that what it is? She's so short she has to sit on a pillow? How tall is that? How tall is that? That's funny. P77 was the coffee curve, which was basically a full C. P29 is the best. Makes anyone a wrist shot. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, she's 5 foot. Yep. That's even shorter than me. Craig says they'll show up. Ticking off Mikla isn't easy, but the Habs did it. Yeah. I wonder what happened before that, or if he was just pissy because we lost again. Like a couple of the guys have been in pretty ornery moods. Jessica says, who do you think the Leafs are going to put out in net against the Panthers tomorrow? That's a good question. It's a good question. You would figure it's going to be Stolarz, right? You would figure he's going to want to play against the Panthers, that they're going to want to have him play against the Panthers. Kenneth. RBJ, what happens if we lose both games? We start talking about second place. If we lose both games, we're then going to be 5 points out with the same number of games played and 7 games left. So if we lose both games in regulation, for sure, you just start focusing on second place. And with Tampa playing the Islanders tonight, we could end up in a situation where that last game of the year is for second and third, is for home ice, right? I mean, it could be that way. Or it could be now, JC, the last 2 games here, the last game of the year against the Lightning, it could be a situation where if we let the Lightning win, they would win the division and we would get Toronto. But could also be a situation where if we win, maybe we get second place and Tampa gets third, so we would get home ice. What would you guys rather do? Right? Would you rather have home ice against Tampa or start off on the road against Toronto? Hey, Simon. Yeah, pretty crazy at the end of the game. Mikla did a big slap shot like he did it. And it was, yep. Alamont, your prayers for him after Almond Mint. I'm not sure what talk to text got you there, Simon. JC says, I just want to make it to the playoffs healthy. That's reasonable. Hey, Dana. Hi, Dana. Still nothing. Still nothing, Dana. JC says this team in the playoffs doesn't care about home ice. Right. I know Lightning have the Islanders, Senators, Sabres. Greg says home versus Tampa short travel series. Yeah, there's that. There's that. And then that would give Toronto versus Ottawa. Who's going to win that series? Toronto versus Ottawa. Does Ottawa have a genuine chance there? I mean, Olmark is I think Boston might have kept the wrong goalie. Kenneth says, that's fine, Trey. You have no control over a Battle of Ontario series. Do what happens. Like, who would win that series, Toronto or Ottawa? Because obviously it'd be home ice for Toronto, but how far apart, how short of a travel is that for Toronto and Ottawa? I don't know Canadian geography. Can they ride their bikes? Kenneth says historically the Leafs. Okay. But I wouldn't count out. It's just a few hours. Kenneth says 4. Gotcha. So that's kind of how far is it from the Panthers arena? Oh, God, if you people only knew. How far between the Panthers arena and the Lightning's arena? It's less than 4 hours, right? Because sunrise. Like if it was in Miami, it might be longer. But is it more like 2.5, 3 hours from Amarant to Tampa's arena? 2 to 3 hours? That's what I thought. Yeah. Ottawa and Montreal are close too, Jameson says. Vincent, no. But I should be. I shouldn't be here. I should not be here in this moment. Simon says, hey, Jaws, how's the fishing, by the way? Well, I'm taking Kyle to the gym today, which is good, because maybe I can go there and die in peace. And then it's cooled off again. It's 48 degrees right now. It's going to be in the 30s tonight. I think Thursday or Friday we're going to be back in the 70s. So hopefully maybe by Friday I can get back out there and do a podcast fishing. In fact, that sounds like a plan. We'll try to do that Friday. I don't think it's going to be raining too much. Let's see. That would be nice. Maybe I can drown myself. Yeah, Thursday high is 76, and then Friday high is 72. It's supposed to be raining all day, but I don't believe what they tell me anymore with the weather. So hopefully Friday it'll just be cloudy, and I can go out there and rain. Trey says, exactly how French is Montreal? Is it a half and half thing, or is it French dominant language? I don't know. Jameson and Kenneth will know. In addition to everything else going on, I put my tongue on some chicken soup before I came on here. So that was nice. That was nice. So we still don't know who's in net tonight? Come on, George. How do we not know yet? Let's see if George has got the lineups up yet. Nope. Dang it. I wonder. Let's see. Let's go to Twitter and see if we know. I mean, I can assume it's going to be Vanacek, but Oh, I don't want to have to do all the login stuff here. I forgot. I cleaned out my cookies and stuff. Let's see. What is that? Is that the right password? Oh, look, I guessed right. All right, let's see. Not seeing anything. Not seeing anything about who might be in net. Hey, Colin, yeah, they didn't change the lines. I know. But who is in net? How hard can it be? Nothing. Practice notebook, that's 20. That's yesterday's practice notebook. So we don't know. We don't know who's in net. Got to be Vanacek. I still wouldn't put it past him to play Bob both games. These are pretty much must wins if you want to win the division. First off, it's a must win tonight for Nico Mikola's health, mental health, right? You can't do what he did and then come back the next game and have your team lose. That's a bad look. You can't have that. So it's kind of a must win. And also that way, since, you can't just be losing in Montreal. You just can't get 4-0. Vincent says, never blame the chicken soup. I did, though. I burnt myself on the chicken soup. We know that Monty is in. Of course, because he turns into Patrick Waugh apparently now. Remember, it used to be whenever we played Monty, be like, woohoo, it's 6 goals. Like 4 on a good night. Steven says, I'd love a statement game that allows me to think we've just been messing around all season and win by like 7. Oh, boy, would I love to see that. I need to see that tonight. Yeah, there's no doubt. Absolutely need to see that tonight. Oh, so, yeah. Maybe can Vanacek steal one? I mean, it wasn't that long ago, Vanacek was a half a period away from opening up with 2 straight shutouts, right? Yeah, because you get shut out, and then it was midway through the Boston game, right? Is that when it happened? Craig says 3 zip cats. Well, I can't say the S word. Can't say the S word. Incorrigible Goat Slayer says, I can't take losing to Montreal. It pains my soul. It's just one of those teams, or they're just one of those teams. They just got our number right now. Hot Dog says, I'm in Montreal for spring break and I'm going to the game tonight. Hey, fantastic. Fantastic. Have fun. Dana says, my experience in Montreal City is it's kind of a nasty place. My husband hated it when we went through there. I didn't say that. She said that. Communist says, win back-to-back games. Wise. Just demolish Montreal and Toronto. That would ease my mind. Kachuckers with Marchand ratting it up. Should be a pleasure to see. I don't think they're going to play on the same line, though. I don't think they're going to play on the same line. Dana says, everyone speaks English in Montreal, though some might choose not to. Yeah. When I was a young man, I rented a apartment from a French-Canadian guy. He was pretty cool. It was a little like, not like a hotel, but like one of those weekly places that was cheap during the winter. And then during the summer, when the French Canadians came in, it was wildly expensive. But I stayed there for about 6 months. And they were probably my age now. They were probably in their 50s. And you're talking about the middle of Hollywood, Florida. And it was structured like a hotel with a pool in the middle. And his wife would sunbathe topless at the pool. They didn't rent to anybody who had kids. It was the craziest thing. They didn't rent to anybody who had kids. And you'd just like come out of your apartment to walk to work or come home from work, and his wife would just be laying there on a on one of the beach chairs, just topless. And you're talking 1992, right? Yeah. So it was like a different time. Nobody ever called the cops on her, though. I don't think the police would have done anything anyway. They probably would have just said, that's just Frenchie. But he was a good guy. I don't think we called him Frenchie, though. But yeah, they spoke French Canadian and everything. But they was like $100 a week. And then when the season would come in and all the French Canadians would come to town, it was like $1,200 a month, which back then was just like absolute insanity. Nobody could afford that except Canadians. Hot Dog says, will Mikula play? If so, I wonder if the fans will boo him. He's definitely playing. We got nobody else. If Mikula doesn't play, Kyle has to skate up, lace up the skates. You know what I mean? Kyle's big enough, right? I don't think he could skate, though. But, no, Mikula's playing, and I'm sure they're going to boo him. Now, how generous they get with the boos. Are they going to boo him every time he has the puck? I don't know. At least he's not a forward, so we don't have to hear booing all the time. Hot Dog says, you'll play for the team. We might need you. We have anybody who can play defense, show up at the rink. Tryouts at 2. Colin. The Dolphins will win a playoff game this year, April Fools. Yeah, in 2025, in some other dimension, like in some other dimension and some other matrix and some other planet, a team named the Dolphins will win a playoff game. It ain't going to be in this one. That's for damn sure. What a disaster wrapped in a freaking shithole that team is. And I'm going back to making videos for that team this year, which, by the way, this is just very short because I know you don't want to talk football. For those of you who liked the way that the Hockey Channel used to be, where I bitched and complained about everything because the team sucked, well, get ready for the football channel this year. Because when you people find out what happened to me today, and I tell you that tomorrow, I can guarantee you one thing. I'm going to be in a shitty mood probably for the next 6 months, which is perfectly timed for football season. So if you like the way the channel used to be, where I was just constantly, consistently pissed off, subscribe to the football channel. Dana says, it's Vanishek according to Hard Rock. Trey. Trey's laughing because he knows it's true. Trey's laughing because he knows it's true. Trey, I got to get it out somehow. Right, brother? Dana knows too. Trey and Dana. I'm being a baby. That's easy for you to say. That's easy for you to say. Good. Hot Dog says, I wonder if GTA 6 comes out before the Dolphins win a playoff game. PlayStation 10 will be out by then. Definitely not having a baby. Holy crap. Maybe. No, maybe. Hey, Nick. You help him having a great day? I hope so, too. Oh. Kyle Trace. Oh, shit. Oh, my God, Trey, you're going to kill me. Oh, my God. Trey is absolutely killing me. That was beautiful. All right, so let's talk hockey. I'm not going to die today. I might. I don't know. If the Panthers lose this next game, would I get schmutz on my? Oh, hold on a second. Something wrong with my eye. I can't see out my eye. All right. So, Grandpa Jaws. No, definite man. All of those options might actually it wouldn't even complain about it. The only one that I would be Vanacek confirmed. Thank you, Communist. JC says Jaws is going through it. Show us on the bear where the bad man touched you. Holy shit. Hold on, JC. Hold on, JC. Please pause. Please pause. I'm still here. Just hold on. Hold on a second. Check your phone, JC. Check your phone, JC. Hot dog, yeah, you want to see, yeah, because you're going to be there. Yeah, you're so glad you brought me that Jaws figure. And so am I, man. Yeah, that captain is my spirit character. That is the truth. That is the truth. Nick says, if the Panthers make another deep run, could we expect a visit to the hometown? If not a game, but at least a watch party? That's a good question. It depends on finances. Depends on finances, right? Right now, I'm still a month behind on all my bills. So I got to get caught up before we can take a trip. If the playoffs go well, maybe if we could do something that way. Trey says I'm ballsy enough to stream Vanny tonight in the fantasy playoffs. In the fantasy playoff, oh boy. I don't know about that, Trey. That's tough. That's tough. Ari says yes. So Simon wants to know what my prediction is for tonight. That's a really good question. Well, I have two predictions. Either we're going to win and I'm going to have my normal coffee and I'm going to be okay and everybody's going to be happy. 5-3 Panthers. Or we lose again. Mikula gets ejected after picking a fight and I lose my shit in the recap because we lose 4-0. Colin says Panthers can punch their ticket with a win tonight and a Blue Jacket lost to the Preds. Right. I don't know about playing Vanacek, man. He's yeah. Is Barkov at 19? Did he get to 19? Let's look at something here because our Panther team stat. Who's not scoring? Who can we bitch about? Yeah, so Barkov's got 19. Chucky's still third on the team with 22 goals. He hasn't played in 6 months. Well, no, that's points-wise, I see. Bennett is actually next in line with 25. Martian has 21, none of which have helped us any. Verhaeghe is sitting there at 17. So Sam Reinhart has the same number of goals as Barkov and Verhaeghe combined. Sam Reinhart has the same number of goals as Barkov and Verhaeghe combined. Craig, as far as the Lions are concerned, I don't think Gadjo is in tonight. JC says it's not going to live. I want to see it. Well, JC, it could happen. It could happen. Trey says Gibson against the Sharks is an option. That's an option. Now, Trey, in the fantasy playoffs, how does it work? Or is it a series, or it's not one and done, is it? Do you play a 7-game series? 5? How many games and how many rounds? Ari says Cats need to put up double digits just to show that they've been playing at 10% this month. Yeah. Matchups are going to be a week long like baseball. Gotcha. Kenneth says the rant's going to happen in Game 3 versus Tampa when Ekblad returns. Yeah, Craig says then Greer because Jack Guy is going to be itching for a scrap. I'm sure it's coming, right? Like it's going to happen. They're not going to just, let that go what Mikkola did. Nick says if they shit the bed tonight, I say we see an angry Maurice on the bench. Might happen too. Trey says you're up 22-6 to 8.2 after yesterday's game. I see. So it goes a whole damn week. That's interesting. Well, we were doing okay with Ekblad out. Not great. But Ekblad and Kulikov, it's too much. It's too much. You can't have Bornfoot and Belinskas on the ice this time of year. We're already going to have Belinskas on the ice for the first 2 games of the playoffs. Oh. And now if you would have said that to me in February, I'd have said, all right. But he's just been so inconsistent. Colin says I have a good feeling about tonight. I hope you're right. Maybe all of the world's problems will be solved rapidly, right during the game. Yeah, that sounds right. Trey, what are the odds of that? Oh, my God. I should have had Kyle do this stream. So, hold on a second. I just want to see something here real quick. Yeah, so Montreal 73-77, Red Wings 73-74. The Rangers, do the Rangers play tonight? They played a Wild tomorrow. I see. Okay. All right, back over here. All right, says, honestly, I don't know what the best matchup would be for us. Maybe we want the Leafs because it's Toronto and the curse and all. Tampa is always a threat. Allmark would be your problem with Brady and, yeah. No interested in Montreal. Definitely not. Definitely not. Ken says, as a Panthers win tonight eliminates the possibility of an epic collapse by the Leafs and missing the playoffs talked about for decades. Hodler says Seth Jones can't line up with Forsing and needs to be with Kulikov or Schmidt. Well, not until we get Kulikov back, right? I mean, he's going to play with Mikkola anyway. But until Ekblad comes back, it is what it is. Connor Record says, little news from Bolts camp. Rumor has it Breeze Boys is trying to sign our first-round pick, 21-year-old left winger Isaac Howard. Well, I hope you guys get it done. and then he plays for you all, and then you can't afford him, and he'll come here and be the next Carter Verhaeghe. Because we need a new Carter Verhaeghe guy that you guys can't sign, because ours is broken. So is this guy going to be our next Carter Verhaeghe, Connor? Appreciate that. Simon says, how does the Panthers clinch the playoffs for the next couple games? I believe with a win and a Columbus loss tonight. I believe that's it. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I believe if we win tonight and Columbus loses, I think we clinch a spot. Vincent says, so if Canadians take out the Caps, who takes the Canadians so that we don't have to play them? Well, that's going to be Metal. You set it up here. Okay. Yeah, we can clinch it. We beat Montreal in regulation and Columbus loses to Nashville in regulation. Thank you, Metal. That makes sense. So if Montreal takes out the Caps, then it's up to Carolina because they're going to beat the Devils, right? Because that's where Montreal would go, right? Because if they're the 8th seed, they're going to play the Capitals. So then they stay in the Metro. Is that correct? And then they play the winner of Hurricanes Devils, which is going to be the Hurricanes. And so that would be, what happened to my, I lost the chat. Okay, here we go. That was weird. Yes, okay, yeah. Comment says, let's help Columbus to make it, for the good ending. That would mean we'd have to lose tonight. That would mean we'd have to lose tonight, which might happen anyway, right? So if it's Vanacek, what's High Does says, why does everyone want Columbus to make the playoffs? Because of Gaudreau, right? Because of the whole Gaudreau thing. Kind of, be nice for their fans. You know what I mean? Columbus had that spot for so long. It's a shame that they blew it. But, Montreal's played well. And even Detroit's sitting right there. So what do we need to do to claim playoff position, Simon? So we need to you have to beat Montreal and the Leafs today and tomorrow. You have to do that. Now, the game against Ottawa, that's not going to be easy. Then we've got the game against the Red Wings. You've got to get 2 points out of those two. This is assuming we've beaten Montreal and Toronto. If you beat Montreal, beat Toronto, get 2 points out of the Senators and Red Wings games, then you've got April 8th against Toronto again. You have to win that game. If you're Florida and you want to win the division, you have to win those games. And then you got Wings. You better win that game. Sabres, you better win that game. And then the last 2 games of the year with Rangers and Lightning. There's so many different variables with who's going to be fighting for what with those games. But if you want the division for starters, you've got to beat Montreal, Toronto, one of Ottawa and the Wings, and Toronto again. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and you got to go 4-1. Because, maybe you could get away with going 3-2, but you absolutely have to beat Toronto both times. Absolutely have to beat Toronto both times. Kenneth, yeah, you guys just need to go 1-1. Yeah. But I think we'll crack 100 points. What are we at? 91? Is that where we're 9 games left? If it goes, yeah. If we go 5-4, that's 101 points. Right? And, Wings, Sabres is 3. You'd only have to win 2 of the remaining games. I'm not saying the Wings are a guaranteed win, but you know what I'm saying. I think maybe over 100. Metal says, I hope these guys care enough to win these next 2 games. I'm just afraid they won't care till the regular season is over, and they haven't for the last 2 or 3 weeks. Well, they did not raise the level of play, like I said, the last 10 minutes of the game against Montreal the other night. That was disappointing. Fly says, do you really think we're beating Toronto both times after we got to play them in this back-to-back? I didn't say I thought we was going to do it. I just said that's what we have to do, right? At least we're going Vanacek tonight. If he could steal one, but if he could steal one, maybe. But playing Toronto now, because playing Toronto on the second end of the back-to-back, it's not optimal. Can we get a point out of that game? If you beat Montreal tonight, because Toronto doesn't play. So if we beat Montreal tonight, we're 2 points out. Is that right? Excuse me. 1 point out. We're 1 point out with the same number of games if we beat Montreal tonight. If we get a point against Toronto, then we'll be back to being 3 points out. Right? Because they'll get 2 and we'll get 1. And so there will be 2 points out. So we would be 2 points out. And then we'd have to beat them. Like Kenneth was saying, if Toronto goes 1-1 against us, good luck to us. Right? Now, like I said, the Leafs and Panthers play on the 9th. The next night, Toronto has to play Tampa Bay. So Tampa gets Toronto on the second end of that back-to-back, which obviously is going to be an advantage for Tampa. So when you look at Tampa's schedule, they may have the path to the division. Islanders, Senators, Sabres, Rangers, Leafs on the second end of that back-to-back, Wings, Sabres again. Then they get the Panthers and they finish up with the Lightning, or they finish up with the Rangers, who may be out of it by that point in time. So out of all of the teams, I think Tampa might have, they played the Islanders and they played the Sabres twice. It's nothing's easy money, but if I had money, if I had $100 right now to place my bets, I would pick Tampa because their schedule is a little bit easier. Yeah, they got the Leafs, but they got the Leafs in the second end of the back-to-back after they played a desperate Florida team, right? Whether Florida wins or loses that game is irrelevant. You would hope we're going to bring it in that game. Metal says, Monty confirmed for tonight. Yeah, yippee freaking doodah. Right. Yippity freaking doodah. Patrick says, it'll be wild if last game of the regular season is just a preview for the first round matchup. It could determine home ice for that first round matchup, Patrick. That's a very real possibility. There's every mixture of possibilities in that last game for us anyway. Kenneth says, if we beat the Panthers on Wednesday, say we play Woll in Florida and Stolars in Tampa on that trip. Yeah. Hey, Simon, that's a good question. Am I going to do any West games? I don't know. I'm going to have a lot of free time for sure. So, maybe we do King. I don't know that I could convince Kyle to do Kings Oilers because we'd be up to like 2:00 every night. I don't know. The problem with the West games is the time. Blues are going to be in, right? We don't know who the Blues in a while they're going to be playing. We don't know who the Jets are going to be playing. And the Kings and Oilers, those are going to be late games. If that's kind of always been the problem with the playoffs in the Western Conference is the times, the game times, they start so late for us, 10:30. Hey, David. Michael says the Bolts are beating the Leafs in any position. So if they're first, the Leafs are second. And if they're second, the Leafs are third. Gotcha. If they tie. Right. So, but we still don't know where Florida's going to, last game of the year, we still don't know exactly will fall. Greg says bribe Kyle with his favorite snack. Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. All right. I got to go. I got to roll. I got to get Kyle to the gym. We got a game tonight, and I have gutted this one out. Tomorrow, I might have some news for you all, but I didn't want to do it today because you would not believe that nobody would believe that it was an April Fool's joke or that it wasn't an April Fool's joke. So we'll see you tonight, 7 o'clock. Everybody, BYOB. You know what I'm trying to say. We'll see you at 7. Appreciate all the support.